The sun bore down on the Patel family home, a modest two-story house on the edge of Willow Creek, its faded yellow paint catching the June light. The front lawn, usually quiet, buzzed with the chaos of a family reunion, picnic tables draped in checkered cloths, a grill smoking with skewers of cumin spiced chicken, and cousins shouting over a makeshift badminton game. Nora Patel, 35, stepped out of her dusty hatchback, her warm brown eyes scanning the scene with cautious hope. In one hand she balanced a pitcher of homemade mango lassi, its creamy surface flecked with cardamom. Beside her, her niece Priya, 15, clutched a dog-eared copy of The House on Mango Street, her expression a mix of curiosity and unease. "Ready, kiddo?" Nora asked, forcing a smile. Priya nodded, but Nora's heart already felt the weight of what was coming. "Same old welcome," Nora muttered under her breath as they approached the house. The screen door creaked, and she stepped into the familiar chaos, expecting at least a glance of recognition. Instead, her Aunt Mira, her sari a vibrant swirl of turmeric and blue, fussed over Nora's cousin Samir, who lounged under a canopy regaling younger cousins with tales of his latest startup dreams. Samir, 30, had a salesman's charm, bright grin, careless gestures. The kind of voice that filled a room without effort. Nora's parents, Anil and Sarita, stood nearby, nodding absently as she greeted them. "Hi, Mom, Dad," she said, her voice soft but clear. Her mother's eyes flicked up, offering a distracted smile before returning to Samir's story about disrupting the tech world. Priya tugged Nora's sleeve, her braid swinging. "Aunt Nora, where do we sit?" Nora scanned the picnic tables, each one packed with aunts, uncles, and cousins, plates piled with samosas and laughter. Her chest tightened. No space for them. Mira caught her gaze and waved vaguely toward a wobbly folding chair by the garage, its paint chipped from years of neglect. "Oh, Nora, you and Priya can sit there," she said, her tone light, as if offering a throne. "It's cozier." Nora's smile faltered, her heart sinking like a stone in the creek that ran behind the house. She set the lassi pitcher on a table, its condensation pooling unnoticed among half-empty soda cans. A memory flickered, sharp and unbidden. Nora, 20, in this same backyard, organizing a cousin's wedding reception, booking caterers, paying Mira's medical bills when insurance fell short. All while Samir took credit for the perfect day. She'd stood in the shadows then, too, her efforts invisible. Her parents clapping for Samir's charm. "I've been their anchor for years," Nora thought, her voiceover steady but heavy. "Bills, emergencies, apologies. But today, I'm just a guest they forgot to invite." She guided Priya to the folding chair, its metal frame creaking under their weight. Priya opened her book, but her eyes kept darting to the lively tables. "Why don't they talk to us?" she whispered. Nora smoothed Priya's braid, her fingers lingering. "Some people only see what's loudest," she said, her voice gentle but firm. She'd come hoping for connection, for Priya to feel the family Nora had once dreamed of. But the truth settled like dust. They weren't wanted here, not really. For Priya's sake, Nora stayed, her resolve wavering but not broken. She glanced at the lassie untouched, and then at the horizon, where the creek glinted like a promise she'd yet to claim. The Willow Creek Library was Nora Patel's sanctuary, its stacks of books a quiet fortress against the world's noise. Sunlight filtered through tall windows, casting soft grids on the oak tables where Nora sat with her niece Priya on a Thursday afternoon. At 35, Nora had poured her heart into this place. Her role as head librarian more than a job, it was a calling. She'd founded the youth reading program 3 years ago, a haven for kids like Priya, who at 15 clutched her notebook like a lifeline. Her essay on belonging scrawled in careful blue ink. "This is good, Priya," Nora said, pointing to a line about finding home in stories. "It's honest. Keep going." Priya's shy smile was reward enough. But Nora's phone buzzed, shattering the moment. A text from her Aunt Mira. "Samir's in trouble. Need your help." Another followed. "Please, Nora. Call me." Nora's jaw tightened. She slid the phone face down, her focus returning to Priya. "Let's work on your conclusion," she said, her voice steady despite the knot in her chest. "Samir's always been the star," Nora thought, her voiceover heavy with memory. "Parties, promises, no follow-through. I cleaned up his messes, but not anymore." Her mind drifted to a summer 7 years ago, when she was 28, wiring half her savings to bail Samir out of a failed food truck venture. He'd charmed investors with big talk of culinary revolution, only to vanish when the bills came due. Nora had stepped in, negotiating payment plans, her bank account dwindling while her parents praised Samir's ambition at family dinners. She'd sat silently then, her contributions invisible, just as they'd been at the reunion last week. That evening, Nora drove to the Patel Community Center, a low brick building at the heart of Willow Creek, its walls adorned with murals from local kids. The town meeting was packed, retirees, shop owners, parents, all buzzing with worry. The center, a family-run hub for after-school programs and senior classes, was facing foreclosure. Nora's mother, Sarita, stood at the front, her face drawn. "Samir took a loan against the center," she said, voice trembling, "for some investment. We didn't know until the bank called." Nora's father, Anil, added, "It's bad, Nora. You've always fixed things. We need your steady head." The room turned to her, expectant, as if she were the family's default mechanic. Nora's stomach churned. "What kind of investment?" she asked, already dreading the answer. A councilwoman handed her a folder, loan documents, a six-figure sum tied to a crypto scheme promising digital wealth. Samir's name was scrawled across every page, and to Nora's horror, so was hers. She flipped through the papers, her breath catching. Her signature, or a close imitation, stared back from the cosigner line. "He forged this," she said, her voice low but sharp. Her parents exchanged glances, their silence louder than words. "I'll look at it," Nora said. Her tone clipped, agreeing only to buy time. Back home, she pored over the documents, her desk lamp casting stark shadows. The loan was a mess, high interest, no collateral. Tied to a crypto platform that had collapsed weeks ago. Samir's scheme had tanked, and now the center, her family's legacy, was collateral damage. Worse, her forged signature made her legally liable. Fury burned through her, but so did a cold clarity. This wasn't just carelessness. It was betrayal. She drove to the Patel family home that weekend. The same house where the reunion had left her sidelined. The dining room was lit with candles, a facade of warmth. Samir lounged at the table, his phone glowing with notifications. His smirk as polished as his silk shirt. Her parents sat stiffly, Mira hovering with a platter of naan. "Nora, good you came," her mother said, her smile brittle. Nora didn't sit. She dropped the loan documents on the table, the pages fanning out like an accusation. "You forged my signature, Samir," she said, her voice steady but cutting. "You put the center and me at risk." Samir shrugged, his grin unshaken. "You're the reliable one, Nora. The bank would believe you signed it. I was just streamlining things." Her father coughed, looking away. Her mother busied herself with a glass of water. "You're overreacting," Samir added, leaning back. "It's just paperwork. We'll figure it out." Nora's hands clenched. "You don't get to figure it out with my name," she said. "This stops now." Mira chimed in, her voice soft but dismissive. "Nora, we're family. Mistakes happen. Let's not make this bigger than it is." Nora's chest tightened, the old pattern repeating, her work erased, Samir's recklessness excused. She thought of Priya, waiting at home, counting on her to be more than the family's fixer. "I'm done cleaning up your messes," she said, her eyes locked on Samir's. She turned to her parents. "And I'm done pretending you see me." Her mother's mouth opened, but no words came. Nora grabbed the documents and walked out, the screen door slamming behind her. The night air was sharp, scented with pine and regret. But her steps were firm. She drove home, Priya's essay still on her desk, a reminder of what she was building. Samir's forgery wasn't just a betrayal. It was a line in the sand. She'd protect herself and Priya, no matter the cost. The Willow Creek Town Hall was a relic of better days, its high ceilings and scuffed wooden floors echoing with the weight of community decisions. On a crisp September morning, Nora Patel stood at the front of a packed room, her hands steady on a worn podium, her heart anything but. The air buzzed with tension, shopkeepers, retirees, and parents filled the folding chairs. Their whispers a low hum about the Patel Community Center's looming foreclosure. Nora, 35, had organized this public meeting not for vengeance but for truth. To save the center she'd helped sustain for years. Her navy cardigan felt too warm, but her voice carried, clear and unwavering. "This center is ours," she said, her warm brown eyes sweeping the crowd. "Not a pawn for someone's gamble. I won't let it fall because of lies." She opened a binder, its pages a meticulous record of Samir's deception. bank statements, loan documents, and a forensic report from a local accountant highlighting the forged signature, her signature, that tied her to Samir's reckless crypto loan. Projected on a screen behind her, a side-by-side comparison showed her real signature, precise and angular, against the clumsy imitation Samir had scrawled. "I was never at that bank," Nora said, pointing to a timestamp. "I didn't sign this." She played a voicemail from Priya, her 15-year-old niece, recorded the day of the alleged signing. "Aunt Nora, we're at the library all day, right?" The crowd murmured, nodding, some scribbling notes. The center, its murals, its after-school programs, was their heart, and Nora's evidence was a lifeline. Then the doors swung open with a bang. Samir strode in, his silk shirt catching the light, his grin a practiced shield. "Nora," he called, his voice dripping with mock pity. "This drama's a bit much, don't you think? Jealousy doesn't suit you." The room stilled, the crowd wavering. Samir turned to them, hands wide like a showman. "She's always resented my ideas. I pitched a vision for the center, modern, bold. She just stole the credit and now wants to play victim." Gasps rippled through the audience, doubt creeping in. Nora's pulse raced, but she held her ground, her fingers gripping the podium. "Your vision," she said, her tone sharp but controlled. "You forged my name to fund a scam that's killing the center." Samir laughed too loud, but before he could spin another tale, a small figure stepped forward. Priya, her braid swinging, clutched a stack of Nora's old financial ledgers, their pages yellowed from years of use. "Aunt Nora gave everything," Priya said, her voice trembling but fierce. She held up a ledger, open to entries from a decade ago, payments for Mira's hospital bills, repairs for the center's roof, even Samir's unpaid phone bills. "She kept this family afloat while you partied. You don't get to twist that." The crowd erupted, some clapping, others shouting at Samir. A local reporter snapped photos, her phone recording Priya's words. Samir's smirk faltered, his eyes darting to the exit. Nora clicked to her final slide. An email from the bank, confirming the loan's invalidation due to fraud. The crowd cheered, but the victory was bittersweet. The center was safe from Samir's debt, but it still needed funds to survive. As the meeting ended, Nora's phone buzzed with texts from her parents. "Why air our laundry? You've humiliated Samir. Come home, we need to talk." The blame stung, but Nora didn't flinch. She stayed to answer questions, shaking hands with neighbors who thanked her. Their warmth a stark contrast to her family's coldness. "I didn't break us," she thought, her voiceover soft but resolute. "I just stopped holding the pieces together." Later, alone in the library, Nora sat among the stacks, exhausted but unbowed. She reached for an old ledger Priya had brought, its cover embossed with the library's logo. Tucked inside was a folded letter, its edges brittle. In the precise handwriting of her late uncle Vikram, a librarian who'd been her childhood refuge. Her breath caught as she read, "Nora, my dear, your family's love is loud but blind. Build a home where you're seen, where your heart can rest." Tears pricked her eyes. Vikram had died when she was 20. His quiet wisdom drowned out by Samir's flash and her parents' pride. This letter, hidden for years, was a gift, a map to a life she was only now claiming. She tucked the letter into her bag, her mind racing. The center was safe for now. But her family's anger and Samir's ruined reputation were a heavy price. Her parents saw her stand as betrayal, not salvation. Yet Vikram's words lit a path forward, not to fix what was broken, but to build something new. Priya's courage, the town's support, the library's quiet strength, they were her home now. Nora stood, the ledger's weight grounding her. Samir's lies had pushed her to this edge, but she wouldn't fall back. She'd fight for the center, for Priya, for the truth Vikram had seen in her all along. October's golden light bathed the Willow Creek Library, its brick facade softened by climbing ivy that rustled in the breeze. Nora Patel stood outside, her hands dusted with soil, watching a group of teens hammer stakes for a new book garden, an annex to the library with outdoor reading nooks shaded by cedar trellises. At 35, Nora had poured her heart into this project. Inspired by the letter from her late uncle Vikram, found after the town hall triumph. His words, "Build a home where you're seen," had become her compass, guiding her away from the family that had sidelined her and toward a community that embraced her. Priya, her 15-year-old niece, knelt nearby, planting marigolds around a bench carved with book titles. "This is gonna be amazing, Aunt Nora," Priya said, her smile bright against the autumn chill. Nora nodded, her heart swelling. Vikram knew family wasn't just blood, she thought. Her voiceover steady and warm. It's who stays, who builds with you. The book garden was Nora's answer to the Patel Community Center's near loss. A space for stories, not debts. The town had rallied, donating books, lumber, and time. Ms. Lin, a local teacher with a knack for storytelling, organized reading circles, her laughter echoing as kids tested the nooks with dog-eared novels. But as the garden took shape, a letter arrived from Nora's parents, Anil and Sarita, on crisp stationery that smelled faintly of her mother's jasmine perfume. We'd like you to come to a family meeting, it read. Let's move forward together. Nora's chest tightened, a flicker of hope stirring despite herself. Maybe, just maybe. They'd seen her stand at the town hall, understood her worth. She agreed to go, Priya's encouraging nod pushing her forward. The Patel family home felt smaller now, its dining room cramped with tension rather than warmth. Samir sat at the head of the table, his silk shirt replaced by a wrinkled polo, his charm dimmed but not gone. Her parents flanked him, their faces weary but hopeful. Nora, her mother began, her voice soft, we want to put this behind us. Before Nora could speak, Samir leaned forward, his smile practiced. Your book garden's doing well, huh? I gave you the idea, you know, mentored you on community projects back in the day. Nora's breath caught, disbelief turning to disgust. He hadn't mentored her. He'd barely noticed her work, too busy chasing his own schemes. Her father nodded, as if Samir's claim made sense. We're proud of you both, he said, oblivious to the lie. Nora stood, her chair scraping the floor. You didn't mentor me, she said, her voice low but unyielding. You used me and I'm done pretending it's love. Her mother's eyes widened. But no one spoke. Nora walked out, the screen doors creak a final note. The night air was sharp, scented with pine and freedom. She drove back to the library, her resolve a quiet fire. Priya and Ms. Lin were waiting, sorting donated books under string lights. Family meeting go okay? Priya asked, her eyes searching. Nora shook her head, but her smile was steady. It's okay. I've got family right here. In the book garden's half-finished visitor nook, Nora framed Vikram's letter, its words a reminder of her worth. Ms. Lin hung it beside a mural of open books, her hand squeezing Nora's shoulder. Priya added a marigold to the frame's edge, a small act of love. The garden wasn't just a project, it was a home, built with those who saw her. Nora looked out at the trellises, the books, the kids who'd soon fill this space. Her family's shadow no longer reached her here. She was building something true, and that was enough. 6 months later, the book garden bloomed under a soft April sky, its cedar trellises draped with wisteria that spilled purple blooms over reading nooks. Children sprawled across colorful awnings, their noses buried in books, while laughter and the rustle of pages mingled with the hum of Willow Creek's spring breeze. Nora Patel, 35, stood at the garden's edge, her warm brown eyes tracing the scene she'd built. Priya, her 15-year-old niece, led a storytelling session under a mural of soaring kites, her voice steady as kids leaned in, captivated. The town had unveiled a plaque that morning, Nora Patel, keeper of stories, bolted to the library's annex wall. Nora's heart swelled, not with pride, but with the quiet certainty of belonging. I thought family was who you're born to, she thought, her voiceover soft and sure. Now I know it's who you choose to grow with. A teen with a sketchpad, her fingers smudged with charcoal, approached the framed letter from Nora's late uncle Vikram, hung in the garden's visitor nook. What's this about, Ms. Patel? She asked. Nora smiled, her hand brushing the frame's edge. It's about making space for what's true, not what's expected, she said, her voice carrying the weight of a lesson learned. The teen nodded, sketching the frame's outline, as if capturing its meaning. A memory flickered. Nora, barely 10, curled up in the old Willow Creek library with Vikram, their laughter echoing as he read her the Phantom Tollbooth, his voice weaving worlds where she felt seen. Back in the present, Nora's smile deepened, anchored by that warmth. Her phone pinged in her pocket, a text from Samir. Sorry, Nora. Can we talk? The words were thin, a shadow of accountability. She deleted it without hesitation, her fingers steady, and turned to Priya and Ms. Lin, who was organizing a stack of donated books nearby. The garden stretched before her, kids reading under awnings, marigolds glowing, the library's brick facade aglow in the afternoon light. Priya caught her eye, waving, her braids swinging. Ms. Lin nodded, her quiet presence a steady anchor. Nora didn't need her family's approval anymore. She wasn't unseen. She was home. The leaves rustled, carrying the scent of cedar and spring. Nora stood still, letting the moment settle. Her parents hadn't reached out since the family meeting, their silence a choice she no longer questioned. Samir's text was the last echo of a life she'd left behind. She looked at the plaque, the kids, the garden, her legacy, built with those who stayed. "I'm here," she thought. Her voice over a whisper of triumph. "And that's enough."